My friend, let me tell you something that might sound strange at first. There are people who wake up every day with millions in their bank account and still feel an enormous emptiness in their chest. Billionaires who look at their statement and think it's not enough. And before you think this is just a rich person's problem, I need to tell you that you're probably trapped in this same cycle too, just with different numbers. Life isn't fair. Some are born with every opportunity served on a silver platter. Others have to fight for every penny, every achievement, and every step. If you lost the birth lottery, you're going to need to work even harder. But here's the problem. Even when you make it, even when you finally reach that number you swore would be enough, the goalpost moves. Suddenly, double seems to be the new target. And then double that. You know what's most terrifying about all this? Research shows that it doesn't matter if you have $100 or $100 million. The amount that feels sufficient is always double what you have right now. Always. It's like chasing the horizon. You walk, and it never gets any closer. And while you're in this endless race, life is passing by. Your kids are growing up. Your parents are getting older. Opportunities to truly live are slipping through your fingers. But there's something even more disturbing. Most people confuse being rich with having wealth. Rich is the car in the garage, the big house. Wealth is waking up and not having to do anything you don't want to. It's freedom. It's peace of mind. And you can have a lot of money and zero wealth. You can be trapped in a golden cage, a slave to your own financial achievements. So here's the truth nobody wants to admit. The game is rigged in a way that you'll never feel like you've won. Never. Unless you truly understand the rules, unless you realize what really matters beyond net worth. And that's exactly what we're going to break down now. Because if you don't take action, you'll spend your entire life chasing something that will always be out of reach. Ready to discover why having a lot of money will never be enough and, more importantly, what to do about it. There's an illusion that haunts most people throughout their lives, and it works like a mirage in the desert. You walk toward it, convinced that when you get there, you'll finally find relief. But when you reach that point, the goal moves further away. This is the trap of the moving money target. When someone has 100,000 saved, they swear 200,000 will be enough. When they reach 200, the right number becomes 500,000. And so it goes, in an endless dance where the finish line never gets any closer. The interesting thing is this doesn't just happen to those who are starting out. Billionaires wake up thinking they need double. It's not a matter of real need, but how our minds are programmed to always seek more. Research shows this clearly. No matter how much you earn or have accumulated, the amount that seems sufficient is always at an equivalent distance from where you are now. It's like climbing an escalator that's descending at the same speed you're climbing. Now, there's a detail that changes everything in this story. If you're satisfied with your relationships, if the work you do has meaning, if your family respects you and the community where you live values you, this need to pursue more wealth diminishes drastically. It's as if your bank account stops being the only thermometer of your worth as a person. When other areas of life are flourishing, money stops being the only measure of success. There are people who live an incredible and fulfilling life with 500,000 saved. They can retire early, travel when they want, have time for their kids. Meanwhile, there are people with enormous fortunes who wake up every day feeling empty, thinking it's still not enough. The difference isn't in the account balance. It's in the ability to associate your self-worth with things beyond net worth. It's realizing that wealth and self-worth are two completely different metrics. The central question here isn't how much you need to have. It's understanding that you're going to move the goalpost, you're going to want more, and that's part of human nature. The trick is recognizing this pattern and not letting it dominate your entire life. You can have financial goals, you can want to grow, but without sacrificing the other dimensions that truly matter. Because at the end of the day, satisfaction doesn't come from a number on a bank screen. Think about the moments when you felt genuinely happy. Probably wasn't when you checked your bank statement. It was at a dinner with friends, in a deep conversation, on an unexpected trip, watching your child do something for the first time. Money can facilitate these experiences, can open doors, but it alone doesn't create memories. And when you realize this, you begin to understand where it's worth investing your energy and attention. Most financial advisors will tell you to invest everything, maximize every penny, Never leave money sitting idle. And in theory, it makes sense. But real life doesn't work only in theory. There's value in having a considerable portion of your net worth in liquid form, in cash. It might seem like you're missing out on gains, but you're actually buying something much more valuable than financial returns. You're buying peace of mind and power of choice. The biggest economic events of the last 25 years have something in common. Nobody saw them coming. The September 11th attack, the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy, and the pandemic. All caught by surprise, overnight. And if you look at your personal life, you'll see the same pattern. Nobody gets married planning to divorce. No 25-year-old wakes up thinking they'll have cancer before 40. The biggest risks are always the ones you're not seeing today. So here's the main point. If you're only saving money for events you can foresee, you're automatically unprepared for surprises. And surprises are always the biggest risks. That's why having a portion of your portfolio in highly liquid assets isn't wasteful. It's strategy. You're not saving to buy a car or make a down payment on a house. You're preparing for a world where the next shock can come from any direction. Imagine the following scenario. The market crashes 50% overnight. Everyone's selling in panic. The news is apocalyptic. Your neighbors are desperate. If you have a solid reserve, you can stay calm. You can leave your investments alone, waiting for the recovery that always comes. But if all your wealth is tied up in stocks and you need money to live, you become a forced seller. And forced sellers always sell at the worst possible time. Here's the hidden magic. The real return on that cash isn't the 3 or 4% you get in interest. The true return is allowing you not to sell your stocks when they're at rock bottom. This return can be worth 10, 20% a year. Because avoiding a catastrophic decision is worth much more than gaining a few extra percentage points. It's the difference between building wealth over decades and destroying everything in a week of panic. There's a powerful phrase about military genius that applies perfectly here. True genius is being able to do the average thing while everyone around you is losing their minds. In finance and investing, it works exactly the same way. If you can simply be average, stay calm and not make mistakes when everyone's panicking, you're automatically in the top 1%. And having cash saved is what gives you that ability to stand firm when the world is on fire. There's a huge confusion between what wealth is and what being rich is. Rich is what you see. It's the car in the garage, the big house, the flashy watch. Wealth is what nobody sees. It's the freedom to wake up and only do what you choose to do. It's not having to accept a job because the bills don't add up at the end of the month. It's having peace of mind knowing you're protected against economic shocks. This difference might seem subtle, but it changes everything. The formula to calculate true financial independence is quite straightforward. Figure out how much you need per year to live the way you want. Let's say it's 100,000. Multiply that by 25. This number assumes a 4% return after taxes, and it means you technically never have to work for money again. With $2.5 million saved, your passive income covers your lifestyle. You're free. Everything you do from there on is because you want to, not because you have to. But here's the problem. This number doesn't stay still. When you're in college, you think $1 million solves everything. Then you get married, have kids, and suddenly $10 million seems more reasonable. When you reach 10, you think about a private jet, giving money to important causes, being relevant. And unfortunately, for many people, relevance is still strongly tied not only to professional success, but to how much money you make. It's hard to break free from this association. Everyone has certain dependencies. And dependency is when you keep doing something even knowing it brings negative consequences to other areas of your life. Some people are addicted to others' approval. A bad comment on the internet ruins their whole day, steals attention that should go to their kids. Others are addicted to money. They lose value in the market and are devastated, even though it doesn't change anything in practical life. Recognizing these dependencies is the first step to controlling them. When you finally reach that number you've always pursued, you need to do a conscious exercise. Get off the treadmill, take a deep breath, and remember that money is just the ink in your pen. It can write new chapters, can make others shine brighter, but it's not who you are. The question becomes about purpose. What do you really want to achieve here? Because if your only goal has always been economic security, There comes a time when you've already conquered that. And then what comes next? For many people, this programming comes from way back. Growing up seeing a sick mother without resources for treatment. Having kids and not being in the situation you'd like. These experiences are deeply ingrained. Even when the situation changes, fear doesn't disappear overnight. But there's a point where you need to evaluate your relationships, your health, your peace. Where you can survive an economic shock, take your kids on a nice trip, have access to medical care. This point used to be $75,000 a year, but today it's closer to $300,000 annually to live without constant financial stress. The most valuable thing money can buy isn't in any storefront. It's not a car, it's not a mansion, it's not a rare jewel. What money really buys, when used the right way, is independence. Waking up every day and knowing you can do whatever you want, with whomever you want, for as long as you want. That's priceless. And the interesting part is you don't need to be a billionaire to experience this. You just need clarity about what really matters and not let money command your personality. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that because they earn a certain amount, they need to live a certain way. They have to drive that car, wear that watch, live in that neighborhood. They become slaves to the expectations that their own wealth creates. But when you use money as a tool to become the best version of yourself, without letting it define who you are, everything changes. You start spending on things that truly amplify your life, not on empty status symbols. The best experiences with money usually involve other people. Paying for a first-class ticket for that decades-long friend to visit you. Taking the whole family on an incredible trip. Dining well with those you love. These things create memories that last forever. And there's something deeply gratifying about using resources to strengthen real connections. This is about creating moments you'll remember on your deathbed. Moments that define a life well lived. There's a huge difference between the United States and Europe in this regard. The United States is the best place in the world to make money. Europe is the best place to spend it. And there's a phase in life where you should stop obsessively accumulating and start enjoying what you've built. It makes no sense to have a giant fortune and live afraid to spend, in bland houses without traveling properly, always worried. You don't own money. You rent it for a while. And if you use it well, you can do incredible things. Here's something many people discover too late. Spending money intentionally is no less noble than saving. In fact, in a capitalist society, knowing how to spend well is as important as knowing how to earn. And this includes philanthropy, which many see as a moral obligation. But it can be much more than that. It can be conscious consumption. Looking at how much you spent in the year and trying to match that amount by donating to causes that truly make a difference. Public education, suicide prevention among young people, organizations that transform lives. The most rewarding thing of all is when you build wealth together with someone. Starting from zero, both with nothing, maybe even with debt. And over the years, together, reaching a place where you can live well, travel to beautiful places, help other people. Being able to look at each other and celebrate that it worked, that you made it happen. It's not having the money that brings joy. It's the process of building, growing, conquering together. These shared experiences and memories are the true treasure that remains. So my friend, we've come this far together, and now the question that remains is this. What are you going to do with everything you just learned? Because knowledge without action is worth absolutely nothing. You can perfectly understand the moving goalpost trap. You can know you need to have cash saved. You can agree that independence is worth more than ostentation. But if tomorrow you wake up and keep doing exactly the same things, nothing changes. I want you to stop now and reflect on some things. What's your number? That amount you swore would be enough? And when you get there, will you really stop? Or are you already planning to move the goal again? Are your relationships getting the attention they deserve, or are you sacrificing everything at the altar of net worth? Are you building true wealth, the kind that brings freedom and peace, or just accumulating empty status symbols? These questions are uncomfortable. They should be uncomfortable, because the truth is most people will spend their entire lives on the treadmill, chasing a goal that never gets closer. And when they finally stop to breathe, they'll realize they lost what truly mattered. Don't let this happen to you. You have the power to change the story now.